Hi guys, Iron Cameraman here. Out of all the many characters in Skibidi Toilet, Titan Cameraman is hands down the most mysterious and long-awaited one right now. The last time we saw him was over a year ago. That's insanely long. But as you probably already know, we're finally going to find out what happened to him this year. Boom basically confirmed that. I'm not here to tell you the obvious though. I'm here to dig deeper into his answers and give you the insights you came for. Turns out there was another hidden answer tucked away in that 2-hour Q&A that connects to Titan Cameraman, but barely anyone noticed it. Everyone did catch the secret leak with the Duchess's glasses, which Boom quickly deleted. Props to the community for that. And yeah, the rumor about Watchman of Doom having the longest sword spread like wildfire, even though it's not true. Now the good news, I managed to hack into his computer, so here's an exclusive screenshot of Boom's screen right as he was typing that reply. As you can see, my name was supposed to be in there originally. Boom just decided to not spoil that part right away and changed his mind. I won't tease too much at the start, but let me say this. Today's breakdown is different from my usual ones. I didn't go in chronological order. I arranged the answers in a way that makes the video more and more interesting the longer you watch. So stay till the end and hit that like button if you don't want the Duchess to accidentally spot you on the roof. Anyway, here we go. Let's start with the most important part, the details about Part 2 and the full version of Episode 79. So, judging by Boom's vague answer about the release date for Part 2 and the usual delays, just like what happened with Part 1, which came out on June 9th instead of the planned end of May, we probably shouldn't expect Part 2 any earlier than the first weekend of July, somewhere between the 4th and 6th. It might even get pushed back to around the 11th to 13th. The runtime will be around 4 to 6 minutes. Let's assume 5 minutes for theory purposes, since the episode's content will likely depend on that. Let's keep going. Stake asked, "What should we look forward to the most?" And Boom replied, "Part 2 of Episode 79, and also the full version of the episode." As for bonus scenes, he said there might be one at the end, plus some tweaks to Part 1. That sounds intriguing. In this and the next two answers, Boom drops a pretty clear hint that Part 2 will pick up right where Part 1 left off, and it won't disappoint. This confirms a few theories. First, Part 2 will be a direct continuation of the first half. Of course, the POV will change, since the chest camera of the speakerman got fried by the radiation. But let's be honest, what's more important than the cameramen defending their base? So the location will stay the same. Second theory confirmed, we're getting a full-on battle at the base. Two major players have already entered the field, Watchmen of Doom and the Duchess. And Boom teases a third one in the next reply. And trust me, they're not just a side character. Now back to the full version and even the next season. The full episode might really drop before the end of July, since animating just one extra scene and making a few edits to Part 1 shouldn't take too long. It's hard to say exactly what those edits will be. Boom has made post-release changes before, to Episode 73, and also to 75 and 76. Depending on how many changes he makes and how complex they are, the full version could come out at the end of July or maybe early August, like the weekend of the 1st to the 3rd, or possibly a bit later around the 8th to 10th. At least this time, it doesn't seem like we'll have to wait 3 months like we did for Episode 78. It's also interesting that the bonus scene will come at the very end. That likely means the main events, the cameraman base battle, will be wrapped up in Part 2, and the extra scene will serve as a lead-in to Episode 80. It might show the end of the cameramen's evacuation to a new base, or maybe the beginning of the next big mission or battle. Now, how does the next season tie into this? Well, Episode 78 ended right in the middle of the action. Most likely, the continuation of that fight will be shown in this bonus scene, and it'll involve a very important character. Who, you ask? You'll see in a second. Stake asked, "Will there be something exciting in Part 2 of Episode 79? And Boom replied, "Yes, a fan-favorite character will return to our screens." Who could it be? Maybe G-Toilet? But we just saw him recently, back in Episode 77 and Season 25. Let's be honest, we're all thinking the same thing. Where is the Speaker Titan? Why isn't he with the Armada, or helping out at the cameraman base? Especially now when the Alliance needs him most. I think the bonus scenes in the upcoming season will give us that answer. They'll probably show the Speaker Titan, Maybe right after the big TV man finished teleporting the cameraman base's equipment and crew to the speakerman's base. He mentioned he'd been working on that for hours, which lines up with the end of episode 78, right when the speakerman armada ran into heavy astro forces. So at that point, the Speaker Titan might have either been finishing up his upgrade or was already on his way to help the armada. That would explain why he wasn't at the cameraman base. He could have been fighting alongside the armada. Then, once they were done, maybe he'd join them and head to the cameraman base together. Or maybe the armada stays busy fighting off the Astros, and the Speaker Titan only heads to the base once his upgrade is fully done. That's probably what those extra scenes in the next season are going to show us, finally answering the big question, where has the Speaker Titan been? Let's keep going. Steak asks, did Michael Jackson, Berserk, and Mafioso survive the Watchmen of Doom's attack? Boom replies, we'll find out in part 2 of episode 79. A lot of people miss one important detail, and that's exactly where it happens. About those characters, including Kleiner too. It's obvious they couldn't have just died off screen from another random explosion. At the very least, we weren't shown that, which would have been a huge miss and disappointment for the viewers. Imagine if we never got to see Dark Speakerman's death scene and were just left guessing what happened after the scientists' attack. Same goes here. Killing off a new semi-Titan in the very first episode would feel like a total waste of a character. So yeah, the skibidis kept their word. They bought as much time as they could and then retreated, leaving the base fight to the cameramen. I mean, what could they even do against the Watchmen of Doom? Even Kleiner and the scientist mech got taken out with one sword swing. But what about that important detail, or twist we're all missing? Mr. Boom is clearly saying that our view of Part 2 is wrong, maybe partially, maybe completely, which means even if the Speaker Titan shows up to help, things might not end well. How's that possible? First, the Astros don't even seem to be taking this battle seriously. The Duchess is just sitting there, the two obliterators barely scratched the base and dropped some screens, and the UFO and Mothership haven't even shown up, even though you'd expect the Mothership to be the one to destroy the base, like with the TV men. That's where I had a theory that the Astros are actually testing out the Watchman of Doom and his new weapons, like the screens, on the cameraman base. And by the way, about that estimated 5-minute runtime for the episode, that's exactly how long parts 3 and 4 of episode 77 were, which showed the battle involving the TV man Titan. So it makes sense that this shorter part could deliver a similar type of battle within that time frame. I've already mentioned the 3 spoilers from Boom about episode 79, a new ability, story details, and the death of an important character. That new ability could belong to several characters. The Duchess, who we haven't seen in full battle yet. The Watchman of Doom, who we already saw use one power, damaging cameras even through their protective lenses. Then there's the Speaker Titan. Upgrades usually bring new abilities and weapons, especially for Titans. And finally, there's G-Toilet. Based on the answer we got, we'll learn more about his past, but it'd be weird if he wasn't actually in the episode. Where else could they show scenes from his life during the chaos of battle, if not in a conversation with the Duchess, for example? Another thing that hints the new ability might be tied to him is the mention of a secret weapon. DeFuchs said it's both a device and a character. That means the character is a robot, and they must be so powerful that even G considers them a secret weapon. Honestly, I can't think of anyone else that could be other than the cameraman Titan. Don't get me wrong, G-Man didn't save him. In episode 74, when the cameraman Titan flew off with the Astros chasing him, G was clearly out of commission. From the UFO and Duchess's conversation, we know it was the secret agent, or maybe the PC men who saved the Titan. Only they could have disrupted the Astro signal and helped take down the squad chasing him. The secret agent helped G-Toilet solo twice, once with the green energy field, then with the hologram. Let's not rule out the agentess either. But if G didn't save the Titan, how would he even know he survived and is probably being upgraded right now? Most likely through the secret agent he's been working with for a long time. That would make the cameraman Titan the real secret weapon. The fact that he's alive is being kept a secret from literally everyone, even the other cameramen. But of course, we're not seeing him anytime soon. First up is the long-awaited return of the Speaker Titan. What about the death of a major character? I've got 2 possible candidates. The first, oddly enough, is the Watchman of Doom. The TV man Titan. Considering the damage he took in Part 1, if it keeps up like that, even without the Speaker Titan stepping in, he might not survive. His ability to still speak shows some retained control. He might even ask the Speaker Titan to kill him, not wanting to go back to the Astros or hurt his allies anymore. The second candidate is Camera Woman. She didn't die from the radiation in Part 1 because the Speaker Man operator probably saved her. Radiation doesn't affect Speaker Men. But considering how recklessly she throws herself into danger, she might end up like Plunger Man. Tragic death like that, either the TV Man Titan or Camera Woman, would totally be the kind of twist we're not seeing coming. Even the Speaker Titan can't take on everything alone. At any moment, the Astro Armada could show up to help, along with the mothership, which right now, nobody's strong enough to take on. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that the Astros didn't go all in on the base yet because they're testing the Watchmen of Doom. But there's no contradiction here. He's been tested, and now nothing's stopping them from going full force, especially if it means luring as many agents to the base as possible. Maybe that was the point of sending the Watchmen, to be the bait. There are still dozens of questions to go through, even ones Dafuk didn't want to spoil. But I've got theories that give some pretty solid and interesting answers. The next parts are coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss them, and drop a like if you're enjoying the breakdowns. Catch you in the next one.